Hey there, folks. Welcome to The Data Show. I'm your host, Detective Diana. My mission is to teach you what I do best, to solve mysteries based on finding data and evidence and then reasoning through it all to locate the truth. Usually, I solve complex crimes like multiple murders and tax evasion for a 3-letter agency that I will not talk about. During the course of my job, I've encountered loads of everyday people being hoodwinked by false leads on the news, TV, social media, or even friends and family with the best intentions. I decided to take this time to help folks navigate these muddy, information-laden waters. I'll be applying my long history of expertise to teach you how to sort through the flotsam and jetsam of information in the world so that you can find the answers to life's big problems. You will know how to separate scientists from shysters and make important life decisions based on strong evidence. Life improves when people are confident that decisions are grounded in reality. Scientific evidence is empowering and can even save lives. Here's a quick teaser for the day.
Fun fact, it wasn't mandatory to include seatbelts in cars until 1968. That was the year the crash test dummy was invented. 82 whole years after the invention of the car. These days, including seatbelts in a car seems like a no-brainer, but car companies needed evidence that seatbelts save lives before they were willing to add them to new models. Fortunately, evidence supporting the effectiveness of seatbelts mounted quickly. In fact, between 1960 and 2012, seatbelts saved over 300,000 people from accidents that would have otherwise been fatal. That's even more people than airbags have saved.
Using and understanding data can literally be the difference between dying lost in a cold snowbank thinking that vodka keeps your body warm, it does not, versus surviving that cold, spooky forest through the aid of radar maps and GPS. With a passion for using evidence to separate fact from fiction, you can be just like the detectives on your favorite crime show, finding and piecing together evidence to get to the bottom of things. This is a thrilling process. After your training, not unlike my own training at Quantico, you won't be vulnerable to the lies and misinformation that pervade our vast media platforms and social networks. You will know the tricks that folks use to persuade you to click on this or to buy that, to believe in the unbelievable. You will be an expert at uncovering the truth, which will give you confidence and help you make good choices for your life and family on the basis of evidence. After your training, you will not just use evidence, you will use strong evidence, irrefutable evidence. I love my job as a data detective, and you will too. Today we won't get into the weeds. It's just orientation so you can sit back and relax. We're just going over the fundamentals. We will define the key terms that we use in each training session. Let's check in with our handy-dandy whiteboard that will show us the definitions on each episode.
Evidence. Our available body of data, facts, or information.
Today, we'll explain the essential concept of evidence, and by the time you graduate with your certificate, this concept will be an old friend. Let's watch a demonstration from our friends Lion and Monkey to help us understand the nature of evidence.
Lion.
And Monkey. Ooh, ooh.
Rawr. Let's turn on the TV.
Check out our new website, Welp. High-quality restaurant reviews. No more dinner disasters.
We gotta try Welp. It sounds amazing.
I don't know. I don't use apps much, Monkey.
It's simple. Just download Welp.
I do still feel bad about that disaster at the Snake Pit restaurant. I thought it was a metaphor.
Oh, Lion. Wait, what about this place? It has amazing reviews. Especially about their tapas.
What even are tapas? I wanted to check out Gordon Ram's new restaurant.
Rams has terrible reviews. And he's always yelling in the back. Plus, the sides cost extra there. And you love sides. Plus, tapas is basically all sides.
Well, they do have 4.8 stars. I was looking forward to meeting Gordon Ram, but I am pretty excited about these fried bananas. Let's go!
Thank you, Lion and Monkey. As our delightful recurring characters, Lion and Monkey, have shown us, we often use apps like this fictitious Whelp to read other people's reviews of things, from restaurants to hidden earpieces. We want help deciding where to spend our precious time and money. These reviews are actually evidence. Evidence comes in many forms. We'll certainly talk about the scientific type from medical research and lab rats that inform our important health decisions. But we'll also talk about the more casual forms of evidence that you encounter every day, like product reviews. We're actually using evidence every day to make decisions, even when we don't realize it. Scientists have even found that babies use evidence to learn about the world, from how a ball rolls to how mom responds when they throw food on the ground. This data detective training will help you apply all forms of evidence in a shrewd way so that you can make correct assumptions and informed decisions. Information from restaurants to heart problems to rat mazes are important for living a happy, healthy life. Here's an example of how seeking, following, and using evidence has helped humankind.
To the untrained eye, the Earth seems flat. We can take in the sweeping view across the prairie or desert and the Earth seems perfectly flat. Given how obvious this flatness is, it's pretty amazing that people first suspected that the Earth was round thousands of years ago. The discussion started around 500 BCE with ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras and was continued by Aristotle. Aristotle provided evidence-based reasoning for his claim, such as the fact that the Earth's shadow on the moon during lunar eclipses was round rather than oval, that constellations change with your distance from the equator, and that the hull of a ship and not the mast disappears first over the horizon. 2,500 years since those first documented discussions, there are still some people that believe the Earth is flat. These people even provide observations and complex theories to support their claims. These theories muddy the water because people are genuinely trying to find evidence and can get snowed into believing these theories. For example, in the 1800s, an outspoken critic who called himself Parallax traveled England promoting his flat Earth theory. His work later inspired the 1956 creation of the Flat Earth Research Society in England. Parallax also inspired his fellow flat earther, John Hampton. Hampton said that the Bible specified a flat earth and called scientists brainless jackasses who were guilty of knavery and fraud. To prove his point, Hampton bet 500 pounds to the naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace that the Earth was flat. You might remember Wallace because he also discovered natural selection along with Darwin. To decide who was right, they placed 3 boats along a straight stretch of the Bedford Canal. Wallace won because the middle boat mast appeared higher from a distance at the same 13-foot 4-inch height above the water. Hampton was enraged and eventually imprisoned for libel. There are still people who repeat Hampton's view, arguing that the Earth is a disk with the Arctic Circle in the center, perhaps with Antarctic ice extending endlessly in all directions. Or some say that there is a dome above the Earth like in the Bible's firmament, with the sun and moon illuminating themselves within this dome. These views don't fit with images of the Earth from space or with the concept of gravity, but the flat Earth proponents have an explanation for everything. For example, they think the Earth is accelerating upward and not pulling us down, and they appeal to complex ideas about relativity that audiences cannot evaluate. They also argue that images of the Earth from space are all fake, and this whole farce is part of the vast conspiracies of the Illuminati. In the highly partisan social media environment leading up to the 2016 US presidential elections, flat earthers linked their theory to other well-known conspiracies so that they could attract believers who were already skeptical of institutions like the Freemasons, the US government, and NASA. In reality, only 10% of people believe that the Earth is flat, but sometimes it seems like a lot more since people are prone to click on links or attend meetings just because they are curious or enjoy a good fight. You would have to reject thousands of years of scientific proof and buy into a complete web of conspiracy theories to still believe in a flat Earth. This matters because knowing that the Earth is round actually benefits us a lot in our daily lives. For example, we can sail the seas without worrying about falling off an edge or ending up in an endless tundra. We can predict weather patterns and generate shorter flight paths, like flying to Shanghai from New York through the Arctic and Russia instead of across the ocean. A round Earth also helps us put satellites into space, so we can text our high school besties on cell phones and watch online videos like this one. These conveniences are all possible because we know the Earth is round. The marvels of our modern lives exist through the power of evidence-based reasoning. Sometimes we have to examine the evidence beyond the naked eye or personal experience to reach the truth.
Fascinating. So, sometimes people try to dazzle us with what seems like evidence. You need to pay close attention to who is saying what. Look up their sources in reputable places and compare their evidence to what the experts agree is the case. Then you can discern fact from fiction. So, evidence is just information, but you have to use your noggin to reason through what all of it means so that you can come out with the truth.
Reasoning. Coming to a logical conclusion or inference through thinking.
Let's check in with Lion and Monkey to see if they reasoned their way toward a great meal. Take it away.
That was delightful. And to think we wouldn't have found this hot new place if it weren't for Whelp.
I agree. Those fried bananas were delicious. Everyone should be using Whelp.
And with reviews from so many people, there's evidence to help you make a good decision.
I agree. Everyone should use Whelp. It really helps. Hey, is that us on TV in a Whelp ad?
Thank goodness we got some closure on that. And now I know what to have for dinner. As you can see from these examples of restaurant reviews and the round Earth, reasoning through evidence can lead us in the right direction. You still have to follow the abundance of data and reject ideas that aren't consistent with the evidence. You have to be a data detective. Data are never perfect, which is part of why we still have to use reasoning to understand evidence. We've all seen that one Whelp reviewer who gives 1 star because they happen to hate bananas or to even hate everything. But when we scroll through the abundance of evidence, patterns emerge and we can discern what most people agree about. Then we know our plan is solid. Hey, Farmer Ted, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, good to be here. I just sold out my arugula at the farmer's market today, and I stopped so early, I decided to drop in.
Sweet.
Yeah, what are y'all talking about today?
Data detective orientation. We're talking about how evidence-based reasoning improves life.
Oh boy, does it.
Sounds like you have a story.
I got plenty of stories. Here's one. It's a good one. As you know, I'm a Midwestern farmer, right? We all know each other from farm council meetings and church on Sundays and things like that, of course. Well, one time, this young guy, he wanted to install a wind turbine on his farmland to reduce expenses, right? But another guy that we don't know, he showed up at the city council meetings to try to block it. Now, he had this strange Facebook group arguing that turbines are dangerous to animals and soil and that the noise actually makes people sick. We were getting worried.
What did the evidence say?
Excellent question. You know, I found some stories online from farmers in the next state. A few said it wasn't worth the noise and the eyesore, and some bats and eagles were attracted to the turbines.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But most of the stories were actually very positive. According to data, most birds are actually just killed by domestic cats, which, of course, we aren't giving up.
I would never give up Catherine the Great.
The scariest rumors about sickness from the noise actually turned out to be from a foundation sponsored by a Texas oil company.
Not exactly an impartial source. So what ended up happening?
Well, I gave the info to council and the resolution passed.
Nice.
Yeah, a bunch of farmers even went in on a group deal to add turbines to their farms. A turbine near town even powers all the restaurants on Main Street.
Cool.
People swear by them. Now, of course, turbines can't power everything, but they do pay for themselves in savings. My friend saved a lot of money, and I can't lie, I also like keeping money out of the pockets of those big oil execs.
And you're eliminating carbon emissions. Way to go, Ted. That Ted is a gem. I've always wondered about those wind turbines. They seem like a good idea, but I was vaguely aware of a controversy and hadn't bothered to look into it yet. So I'm glad Farmer Ted could piece it all together through evidence-based reasoning to help his town.
Evidence-based reasoning. Using evidence to come to a logical conclusion.
Evidence-based reasoning is a bit of a mouthful, but it's really just the process we use every day to make decisions. This process has improved human life immeasurably, from eradicating diseases to increasing our lifespan to entertaining us with goofy instructive videos. That's orientation. From here on out, we'll cover a variety of topics to improve your evidence-based reasoning. First, we'll discuss the scientific method and how to recognize evidence. We'll discuss reasoning from various types of evidence, from a friend's advice to scientific findings. Second, we'll discuss what makes certain types of evidence more reliable, like when it comes from an expert versus an influencer, or when data accumulate to make us more sure. We'll learn how to use that evidence to make careful inferences. Third, we'll discuss what to do when two pieces of evidence contradict each other, and what assumptions we can make based on the available evidence. Fourth, we'll examine ourselves, particularly how our reasoning can sometimes lead us astray in predictable ways. Once we know about cognitive biases, we can notice our own biases and others, and be aware of people using them to take advantage of us. Lastly, we'll try to figure out when people are motivated by less than noble reasons to promote their point of view or persuade us into something. As a data detective, you can more easily spot these characters and their bag of tricks. Thankfully, we're not trying to sell you anything, except maybe solid, evidence-based reasoning, but with the goal to make our lives better, smarter. See y'all next time. Case closed.